Democracies aren't just judged by whether protests happen. They're also judged by how governments respond when protests happen. For nearly 3 months, India witnessed one of the largest student-led movements in recent history. What began as outrage over a NEET paper leak eventually became a national political movement involving hunger strikes, marches to the parliament, opposition rallies, social media wars, and allegations of foreign interference. That movement has come to an end. The government accepted key demands. The education minister resigned. Student leaders withdrew their agitation. And perhaps the biggest question now is, did what began as a governance crisis ultimately become one of Modi government's biggest political victories? On May 3rd, nearly 22 lakh students appeared for NEET UG 2026. Within days, allegations of question paper leaks surfaced. For lakhs of families, this wasn't merely another controversy. It was years of hard work suddenly thrown into uncertainty. Trust in India's examination system had taken a serious hit. On May 12th, the National Testing Agency cancelled the examination. The investigation was transferred to the CBI. A nationwide re-examination was announced. The centre promised enhanced security and accountability. For many students, however, the damage had already been done. Questions now extended beyond one leaked paper. Could India's examination system still be trusted? Mid-May to June, the streets had filled up. Protests had spread across Delhi and several other cities. Students demanded transparency. Parents demanded accountability. Soon the movement evolved beyond NEET itself and into a wider demand for examination reforms. On June 21st, the re-examination took place. Authorities transported question papers using Indian Air Force aircraft. Officials described it as one of the most secure entrance examinations ever conducted in India. The government was trying to restore confidence. But confidence, unlike question papers, cannot simply be transported overnight. On June 28th, environmentalist Sonam Wangchuk began an indefinite hunger strike at Delhi's Jantar Mantar. His protests became the emotional center of the movement. Students from across India joined demonstrations. Civil society organizations entered the conversation. Political parties soon followed. By early July, what had started as an examination issue increasingly became a political issue. Opposition leaders visited protest sites. Campaigns exploded across social media. Questions about governance slowly gave way to questions about politics. And that distinction would become increasingly important. On July 16, the Delhi High Court directed authorities to ensure Sonam Wangchuk received proper medical care. That very same day, the NTA declared re-examination results. Fresh concerns over transparency triggered another round of demonstrations. The crisis was clearly far from over. By July 18, Wangchuk's health had deteriorated. Delhi police shifted him to Medanta Hospital. Supporters criticized the move, and the protests intensified further. Then came July 20th, the first day of Parliament's monsoon session. Despite permission not being granted, the Cockroach Janata Party or CJP organized the Sansad Chalo March towards the Parliament. Barricades were erected, clashes broke out, detentions followed. It became one of the most tense days of the entire movement. Yet what happened afterwards may prove even more significant. Despite the clashes, the government would later agree to withdraw the FIRs filed against protesting students, ensuring participation in demonstrations would not permanently affect their careers. That decision changed the tone of negotiations. On July 23rd, Prime Minister Narendra Modi directly addressed India's youth. Not once, but twice. One of those social media reels crossed 303 million views within 24 hours, with supporters describing it as setting a new global benchmark for political digital engagement.
Friends, मैं जानता हूं कि पेपर लीक ये कोई मामूली विषय नहीं है। लाखों विद्यार्थी और उनके अभिभावकों के लिए बहुत ही पीड़ादायक है और इसलिए पेपर लीक घटना से अब तक पिछले 2.5 महीनों में अनेक विध कदम उठाए गए, गुनहगारों को पकड़ा गया है, वे जेल में पड़े हैं हमारा सबसे महत्वपूर्ण जिम्मा था कि विद्यार्थियों का एक वर्ष बर्बाद न हो। तत्काल परीक्षाएं लेना बहुत जरूरी था। सरकार ने अभी पूरी शक्ति का उपयोग करके कम से कम समय में 22 लाख जितने विद्यार्थियों के एग्जाम हो जाए, इसका प्रबंध किया। और अभी 5-6 दिन पहले 19 तारीख को रिजल्ट भी आ गया और देश भर में उत्तीर्ण हो गए विद्यार्थियों की खुशियों की खबरें भी आ रही हैं। लेकिन हम वहां पर संतोष मानने वाले लोगों में से नहीं है और इसलिए मैंने आज फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट के लिए विभागों को निर्देश दिए थे। आज विभागों ने लगातार मेहनत करके देर रात मुझे मुसद्दा भी दे दिया। फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट और कठोर सजा के प्रावधान के साथ का ये मुसद्दा कल कैबिनेट में चर्चा होगी। कैबिनेट के साथियों के सुझाव के बाद उसका अंतिम रूप दिया जाएगा और सोमवार से संसद का दूसरा सप्ताह शुरू हो रहा है। तब जल्द से जल्द उस बिल को सदन में पारित कराने का प्रयास किया जाएगा।
Whether viewed as political outreach or digital communication, the message was unmistakable. The government this time wanted to speak directly to the Gen Z and not around them.
थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स। कल देर रात आपसे मिलने का मौका मिल गया। मेरे जो वीडियो पोस्ट किया था उसको जिस प्रकार से आपने रिस्पॉन्ड किया, सकारात्मक सुझाव दिए, थैंक्स टू एवरीबॉडी। ये आपका प्यार बना रहेगा, हमारा नाता और अधिक सक्रियता से जुड़ता रहेगा। थैंक यू दोस्तों।
At the same time, the Prime Minister announced major reforms. Fast-track courts for paper leak cases, tougher anti-paper leak legislation, strict action against negligent officials, and a comprehensive technological overhaul of India's examination system.
फ्रेंड्स, विद्यार्थियों के भविष्य के लिए भारत सरकार लगातार अनेकविध कदम उठा रही है। जिन लोगों ने विद्यार्थियों के भविष्य के साथ खिलवाड़ किया, वे जेलों में सड़ रहे हैं। हमने फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट बना चुके हैं। हम कल पार्लियामेंट के अंदर भी कठोर कानूनों के प्रावधान के साथ नया कानून बनाने की दिशा में भी आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। लेकिन हमें भविष्य के लिए सोचना है। हमारी परीक्षा पद्धति विश्वस्त हो, हमारी परीक्षा पद्धति ट्रांसपेरेंट हो, हमारी परीक्षा पद्धति में सबसे ज्यादा अब टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग हो। इन सारी बातों को ध्यान में रखते हुए विश्व प्रसिद्ध टेक्नोलॉजी एक्सपर्ट श्रीमान नंदन नीलेकनी जी के नेतृत्व में एक हाई पावर टास्क फोर्स बनाने का निर्णय किया है, जो एग्जामिनेशन रिफॉर्म की तरफ फोकस करेगा और जल्द से जल्द आने वाली परीक्षाओं की विश्वसनीयता को सुनिश्चित करने का काम इसके रिपोर्ट के आधार पर कर दिया जाएगा। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
On July 24th, Sonam Wangchuk ended his 26-day hunger strike after meeting Union Ministers JP Nadda and Jitendra Singh. For the first time, meaningful dialogue had begun. Student representatives continued negotiating with the centre. Then came July 25th, the biggest breakthrough. Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan resigned, taking political responsibility for the crisis. The National Testing Agency removed 47 officials and initiated sweeping administrative reforms. Prime Minister Modi constituted a high-power technology task force headed by Infosys co-founder Nandan Nilekani to redesign India's public examination architecture. The cabinet also approved major amendments to the Public Examinations Act. The proposed changes included prison terms ranging from 5 to 10 years, fines of up to ₹10 crores, and fast-track courts aimed at disposing paper leak cases within 3 months. The government also accepted several demands raised by student representatives. Fast-track courts agreeing on financial support for families affected by examination-related tragedies, and withdrawal of police cases against protesting students. Within hours, the CJP called off the nationwide agitation once their demands were met. But as the protests kept growing, one argument was difficult to ignore: the external interference of anti-nationalistic forces. The US Embassy had earlier advised its personnel to expect unusually large crowds in New Delhi. The US seemed to have intel beforehand of a large-scale gathering about to take place. Delhi police later alleged that more than 480 Pakistani-linked social media accounts had coordinated misinformation campaigns using AI-generated content and deepfakes to amplify the arrest online.
हमने नोटिस किया है कि सोशल मीडिया में कुछ मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन फैलाने की कोशिश की जा रही है। अभी तक 400 से ज्यादा पाकिस्तानी सोशल मीडिया हैंडल्स आइडेंटिफाई किए जा चुके हैं जो इस सिचुएशन का फायदा उठाते हुए फेक कंटेंट और र्यूमर स्प्रेड कर रहे हैं। उनको ब्लॉक कराया जा रहा है। ये वही सोशल मीडिया हैंडल्स हैं जो ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान भी एक्टिव थे। उनका सिर्फ एक ही मकसद है, लोगों को भड़काना और स्पेशली स्टूडेंट्स का ध्यान भटकाना। मेरी आपसे अपील है कि बच्चों की सेफ्टी के लिए किसी भी फेक पोस्ट, एडिटेड वीडियोस या एनोनिमस हैंडल से किया हुआ कोई भी पोस्ट के भड़कावे में ना आए। किसी भी पोस्ट को शेयर करने से पहले फैक्ट चेक करो, र्यूमर्स को स्प्रेड मत करो और किसी भी एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट्स को अपने इमोशंस का कंट्रोल मत लेने दो। याद रखो कि पीसफुल प्रोटेस्ट करना आपका अधिकार है और दिल्ली पुलिस इस अधिकार का रिस्पेक्ट करती है। जय हिंद।
The Bar Council of India alleged that foreign-backed anti-national interests attempted to exploit the movement. The ABVP similarly claimed that genuine student concerns had been appropriated by anarchic and politically motivated elements. Now, during sections of the protest, slogans touching on caste politics, religious sentiments, and even issues such as Article 370 were also raised.
बस नाम रहेगा अल्लाह का, इसी लाइन से सबसे ज्यादा दुख हो रहा था राइट विंग को। उनको समझ ही नहीं आ रहा था कि ये हाईएस्ट वेदांत है। अल्लाह का मतलब वो शक्ति जो हम सब में है। बस नाम रहेगा अल्लाह का जो गायब भी है हाजिर।
पहले तो मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि ये जो सरकार है, ये जो कर रही है, ये बहुत सालों से कर रही है और हमने देखा है कि ये लोग बस सीता के पति का नाम ले लेके सीता के पति का नाम 370 के प्रोटेक्शन जो हमें इस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने दिए थे, आज मैं इस मंच से, जिसे आप मंच कहते हैं, सवाल करना चाहता हूं, क्या आपको कभी भी ये सोचने का मौका दिया गया कि आप ये सवाल करें कि क्या 370 पाकिस्तान के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने दिया था?
These were issues far removed from examination reforms. The MEA spokesperson Randeep Jaiswal, however, clarified that India's intelligence and investigations so far have not been able to point towards foreign funding of the CJP for the protest.
मधु, आपने कहा, बात आपने उठाई कि फॉरेन फंडिंग वगैरह की बात जो आपने कही, जो प्रदर्शन चल रहा है, तो मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि मेरे पास इस मसले पर किसी प्रकार का कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन आपसे साझा करने के लिए नहीं है।
Another question also emerged during the protests. If accountability was the sole objective, why was the resignation demand focused almost exclusively on Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan? State governments in places such as Punjab and Karnataka have also witnessed examination controversies over the years. Yet comparable campaigns demanding the resignation of respective education ministers never gathered similar momentum.
सौरभ, क्या बाकी राज्यों में भी सीजेपी इस तरीके से प्रोटेस्ट करेगी? आशुतोष,
आम आदमी पार्टी को आपने मंच दिया, आम आदमी पार्टी को आपने मंच दिया क्या? पंजाब में करेंगे? पंजाब में करेंगे, पंजाब में आम आदमी पार्टी को ने मंच दिया।
As a result, the critics of the movement argued that this selectively suggested the agitation had evolved beyond examination reform into a campaign aimed primarily at the BJP-led central government. Protest organizers, however, maintain that NEET is administered by the centre and therefore the union government bore primary responsibility. Now the question, shouldn't India's examination safeguards have been stronger from the beginning? Absolutely, that is a legitimate question. But here's the irony. What began as one of the Modi government's toughest governance challenges may ultimately be remembered as one of its strongest demonstrations of political accountability. India has witnessed examination paper leak controversies under previous governments as well. Yet rarely did such crises culminate under resignation of a union education minister, a sweeping overhaul of the examination authority, the removal of senior officials, and the promise of structural legislative reforms. This time, the government chose to absorb political responsibility rather than simply managing the headlines. Whether that decision was driven by conviction, public pressure, or political calculation is a matter for viewers to decide. But the sequence of events is difficult to miss. In a democracy, accountability is measured not by claiming perfection, but by accepting responsibility when institutions fail. If these promised reforms are implemented in full, this episode may well be remembered not only as a student movement that demanded change, but as the moment a government demonstrated that public pressure can lead to institutional correction. Ultimately, the real winners should not be any political party or protest group. They should be India's students, whose faith in a fair examination system now rests on the government's ability to turn promises into lasting reform. This is Shivangi Mukherjee for India Abroad.